Hey y'all, so I'm back with my bundles. So this is the first bundle in the Tattered Temples series. And you guys know I've been talking about this bundle for a little bit. A few of you that's been following me on various platforms have actually kind of been staying on me over the last month and a half. Like, okay, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. Hey, when it comes out, Robin, don't forget. And I do appreciate that because it keeps me motivated to know that you guys do want these bundles, and it does take a while to put them together. It doesn't seem like it, but when you're like trying to put as many as you can together, so I was able to do 30 of these before I ran out of a lot of the one-off pieces of Swooza and the Kuba cloth and the mud cloth that I felt went with this bundle. I do have more mud cloth, but in some different color variations. So that'll go into a different bundle. But what I like is I'm into global ethnic. You guys know by looking at my work, I love all type of cultures coming together. That's what art mythos is for me. My stories is telling my stories is about the anthropology of the planet, basically, all of the cultures, how we are so similar, what inspires me in the Asian culture, in the Mayan culture, in the African culture, in the European, in the I'm thinking like the Netherlands and that region. I love the Dutch culture. And I just love so much. I love the Samoan cultures, and so I just look for the similarities. I love the way language looks. The written language looks similar, or the color patterns, or the way the hieroglyphics or the petroglyphics look. So to me, I love globally ethnic inspired um, thing. So if you're following me, I figured what the best the best bundle to put together would be one that had a lot of different cultural pieces brought together, but at the same time focusing a lot on the swoosh and the Kuba cloth because I was able to sort of be the steward of a lot of these little scraps over like 30 years at least. And it's really time for me to move them on. I've used them a lot in my work, but I could never use them all unless I just decided to sew together a gigantic quilt or something. And, that's not what my plans are. So I, wanted to move them along to you guys. So I'm going to show you, this is how the bundle will look when you receive it. It's all bundled up. Everything that I'm going to show you is in here. And I'll explain all the elements to you, and it'll be mailed in this little envelope. I got these mailers when I was in France. I love these mailers with those little lines in their craft, but you get them all the time when packages are sent from Europe, but we don't sell these here. So I filled my suitcase up with a few bundles of these because I knew I wanted to be able to mail things out to you guys in these envelopes. I know. It's like the details for me that matter. And then, of course, you'll be able to use these in your journal. You'll be able to reuse them. They'll be worn through the mail, but wabi sabi, right? So that is what will be coming. Now I'm going, and also once I show you what the bundles are looking like, I'll do a technique video. I'm going to show you how we can use some of these fibers in our Tattered Temple journal that we're working on. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I don't want to necessarily give you the entire experience. I want you to open this yourself because I created these so that they would just be so fun to open. So I don't want to ruin that part of it. But this is what it looks like. But I will show you the elements that are not assembled. Okay. So here we are. Let me bring this over so we can see. Okay. Let's start with the cover. So the first thing that's on the front is this, is a length about 12 inches of this velvet satin ribbon. It's like flock velvet. It's from the 70s. I got a vintage roll of these in 2 colors, and I thought this color was really beautiful. This is, this old flocked ribbon. And I have this blue one. You probably will see me working with this one. And then this one is the one that I've shared with you guys. So I want you to see that, you know, it's definitely vintage stuff. I love this. Whenever I find it, I try to buy them. I found these two together. I lucked up because it's hard to find this stuff, but you get a ton of it. So I wanted to share some of that with you because I felt like the color is just perfect for this series and for the fabrics that we're going to be working with. And then also on the front is a little piece of, oh, I had it right here in front of me, but I don't hit to the side. It's a little piece of old book pages from a book that I got a couple years ago when I was in Mexico. I'm always looking for old books. And so I just wanted to put that little piece on there because of course it goes, and it's just another little element for you guys to collage with and have fun with. So, so anyway, that will be included in your pack. So let's look at the pack and I'll show you. So when it comes, it's going to come pretty much like this. And so it's going to be sewn together. So this whole little bundle will be sewn together with a vintage button. These are buttons that I've had in my collection also. I know at least I've had these buttons for, I know, 20 years. I remember exactly where I thrifted them from. I was deep down in Virginia, and it was this small little antique store. You know how you always stop, oh, I got to go in there. And it was really just like a little teeny shop. It really wasn't all that big. There was an older woman there, and she just had a collection of buttons and old jewelry and old postcards, that kind of thing. And this was a whole big like applesauce jar full of these buttons. And they were a little pricey, but I thought, I'm buying these because when am I going to find that massive of a collection of buttons that are like from the early 1900s, late 1800s. They're all beautiful. They're actually real pearl shell, you know, mother of pearl buttons. And each one is going to be different. They're really beautiful. So I put one of these on top of the bundle to bundle it together. So you'll get that. And then now we'll just sort of flip through the fabrics. And this is one of the bundles. And then the second bundle that's in here is going to look like, like this. So you're going to get two bundles in the package. This is all the global ethnic ones, which I'll show you. And then this is the ones of just a lot of different ones. So the first one is beautiful Thai silk, or as we call it sometimes, kimono silk or sari silk. So that's a piece. This is really lovely raw silk, just beautiful. And then there'll be like little bits and pieces of that I have that, you know, I felt match the palettes, and they just make nice little tabs in our journal, or little, you know, tuck spots, or if we wanted to do some collaging where you want to kind of collage, you know, pieces together, you have those. Now there are 30 plus pieces in this bundle, So there's a lot in here. Here's some more. So all these little pieces will go together. So there'll be like 3 or 4 of these smaller squares on the top. And then this is beautiful raw silk with the slugs in it. All these fabrics I've had in my collection for between 20 and 30 years. They absolutely are authentic. I have not gone out and bought a single thing from the store, even in recent years. These are all really old, beautiful fabrics that I've collected over time. So be assured that, you know, they will be unusual. There's nothing like you're gonna, oh, I could have gone down to Joann's and bought this stuff. It's not that at all. And I wouldn't do that to you guys, because I like old and authentic things. And I've collected it for so long, because I used to have a a handbag line that I used to use a lot of these fabrics in, and that business did really, really well. They were beautiful cloth bags. This is also some more raw silk. You can just see the texture in this silk. It's so beautiful. It's really a lovely sheen. And we're going to do so much with these textile pieces. So um, it's another one. Just little circles on this. This is a upholstery weight fabric. Here's another silk piece with embroidered leaf on it. And all these, these will every bundle will have one of these in it. We'll have one each piece of fabric in it, but they'll all look a little different, of course, but it'll be the same thing. Of course, we have to have some burlap. This actually came from a cotton, kind of like a coffee sack. It wasn't a coffee sack, but it was like an old burlap kind of sack. So love that burlap. These are all silks. So these are a lot of silks that are from Asia, from India. Most of these are Asian and Indian silks. And I've kept the palette more neutral, this first palette, so that it would just really be able to blend in with fabrics and stuff that you guys already have. Look at the colors in here. This is really gorgeous. That sort of greeny rust color with the neutrals. It's another type of raw silk. Some linen. This is some really old, really beautiful soft black linen. This is some more silk. This has these little kind of bumps in it or little knots. I love this. I love this fabric. It's really neat. So that just adds a nice textural element to it. And then here's a piece. This is some Asian fabric, and it's all embroidered. And every piece will have some aspect of the flower and the leaves and stuff on it. So that's yummy. And then this is a piece of leopard print in a really beautiful old upholstery fabric. It's kind of like it's raised fabric. It's really pretty. So I thought that goes nicely with the bundle. And this piece is upholstery fabric, but it always reminded me of the African mudcloth, patterns. So I put this in here because this is really neat and it's nice and graphic. There is some of this vintage. This is like a denim that has been dyed, so the shibori dyeing, and this stuff is really nice. This is all I had in this. This was a hard one to get rid of, but I wanted you guys to have it in this bundle because I felt it went so well with the other ethnic fabrics, but I didn't have a lot of it, but I had enough to make the bundles. This one has another little piece of this in here. Generally, there's only one piece, but maybe sometimes when I put them together, if I had extra strips and stuff, I just threw them in because there's 30 plus. They're not an exact number. Everyone has all the main stuff in there, but some of them I might have thrown some extra pieces in here and there. So you'll find differences. Like there'll be repeats. Like I put some of the smaller pieces on the top, but here's a larger piece on the bottom. So you'll get some dupes like that so that you can kind of use them different ways. And I put a piece of jean fabric in here because I work a lot with jeans, and I will show you guys a technique where I jelly print on the jean fabric. It really holds up nicely to jelly printing, and you can change the whole nature of this fabric. It really holds up. So I knew that I was going to be showing you guys that. So I put a piece of that in here. Not that you can't get your own jean fabric, but I thought, well, I'm gonna be showing you the technique and it'll be convenient to have it in the bundle. But also I'm putting together a bundle that's going to be like the indigo, and it's going to have a lot of different, not only jean fabrics in it, but a lot of indigo fabrics from my collection. So I love working with jean fabric. This is another yummy little piece of graphic. I love this part is what I love too. So a lot of the pieces will have this on it. And then here's another one that has this little fringe. Any kind of fringe I love. So this fabrics with this fringe on here like that, it's like embroidered, it's like woven. That whole fringe is woven into the fabric. It's beautiful fabric. You can tell it's really nice quality. See, that's the back where that fringe has been woven into the fabric. It's really nice. And then here's one large piece of mud cloth in here. Neat fringe. So everyone will have one big piece like this. And all of this now, all of this mud cloth as well is from my collection. This I've definitely had for very close to 30 years. So even though you can get mud cloth now, I've seen a lot of it on the market, but I'm telling you, none of it is as nice as the older mud cloth. So when this stuff became commercialized, everybody started making it, and like a lot of it's made in China and places like that, and it's just like mass produced. But you can see the quality in this one. Look at the way the dyes. See the way the dye is bleeding there on, like you can really see it there. It's not like stamped. You know, you can see that there was a real resist created, and then the dye was bleeding beautifully. That's how you can really tell the quality in the mud cloth. And the older stuff is like this. So when if you find some vintage or some old, like even if you might be in an antique store and someone's giving it away and you look at it and you can look at it and tell, plus it's soft, it's really soft. It's not like hard and crunchy, like it's got, when it's hard and crunchy, it's got paint on it, like a textile paint to create this. But when it's soft like this, and it's been used with plant dyes to dye this black onto this cream color cloth. So just know that what you're getting in this collection is definitely older mud cloth. It's beautiful, it's authentic, and it's nothing that you just can go out and buy. And that's why I'm sharing this collection, because a lot of these fabrics are just so beautiful, and I just don't want to be hoarding them any longer. Dare I use that word? So that's what this bundle will look like. And then this bundle will have all of your Swooza and Kuba cloth in it. So these are definitely going to be different, because when you go to buy like the vintage mud cloth, you know, like you could pay $60 to $100 for one panel that may be, you know, like I think it could be like maybe 1.5 feet by, or 1.5 feet, 2 feet by maybe 3 feet. That's generally the traditional size of the mud cloths. They do come bigger, and oftentimes they're sewn together. So you could pay anywhere from $60 to $100 and more and up for the mud cloth when you get really good stuff. I mean, you can get a cheapo one for like $25, but, and then the Swooza, forget it. Any of the vintage stuff, it's anywhere from several hundred to several thousand. They're, you know, they're just beautiful cloths. And then once you got one, you're not gonna want to cut it up. Nobody wants. I have pieces that are gorgeous. There's no way I'm cutting them up. But a girlfriend of mine, a textile designer, she designed beautiful jackets and garments and what have you. And she sold her things for $3,000 and $4,000 or $5,000. She had a really upscale kind of clientele. And so she did cut a lot of these fabrics up, you know, over the years. But she was able to justify it because her business model was such that she was able to, her idea was she was preserving all these beautiful fabrics into garments that were classics and people would wear them forever. So I purchased a lot of her scraps from her, and I bartered also her scraps. So, but a lot of them are just beautiful pieces. Like I love, everyone will have a piece of these in here. This is the edge of a Swooza cloth, but I love it. You know me, my wabi sabi and all that stuff. You see the little stitches in them on the back side. Come on, can we focus? I'm getting it to focus. Oh, there we are. So you can really see the quality. You see the little stitches there. The fiber is beautiful. And I use these a lot to edge my pages, on the edge of the journals. I mean, I use these things a lot of different ways. I just love it. I love the authentic vibe that it brings to it. So there'll be some of this in there. These are pieces of the actual Swoozer cloth. These make great tags and tuck spots, and we'll use these a lot in the journal. Here's some more pieces. There'll be yummy pieces in here that you guys can really use. Here's another piece. So you'll have those in there. And then there's also going to be pieces of some of the very old mud cloth, just really beautiful pieces. Look at this. And that makes just a great tag in itself. They're so graphic. So I've selected some really beautiful pieces. And I've tried to keep the color palettes so that, look at this one. Oh my God, I love the colors in this one. How graphic that cross is. Just so nice. You can use these in a tag. Here's another piece. That's just yummy. That could be that could be a small book cover or used on the front of a book cover. So I try to put pieces in here so that you guys could really use them and just have a nice mixture of these African ethnic fabrics that are definitely 30 plus years old. All of these, I mean, let me put them like that. They're way older than that, but I've had them in my own collection for that long. And I know that Brenda, she used to source from a lot of African merchants that would get a lot of vintage and older pieces because she was always looking for the older pieces. So I dare say that most of these pieces are definitely, I would say definitely 60 to 80 years old easily. I dare say 100, but definitely 60 to 80 years old. So you're getting a nice vintage bundle that's kind of hard to try to reproduce. And, you know, all the little bits and bobs are great for, you know, us working in our journals and things like that. It's not like, you know, you wouldn't really want to buy full pieces of all of these different type of patterns. It would be in the thousands of dollars. So that's why I thought it was great to put these bundles together, because you'll see me working with these. And a lot of you had already reached out to me and say, hey, where can I get some of those? Or are you ever going to sell those or whatever? So I knew it was time for me to do that. And then the other thing that's in this bundle is I have some old wallpaper borders that, here again, I've had in my collection for a long time, like a long time. I have my coffee for as long as I've had the fibers. And so you've already seen me work with one of them in the Tattered Temples, this piece right here, where we made a pocket out of it. We made it, you know, we aged it and then made it into a pocket. So I put several, like, I think they're like at least 3 pieces of this in there for you to work on. And, you know, I've made them into pockets, these little kind of pockets, which are great to put into the journals, and what have you. So so I'm giving you some of those as well, so that you can be able to work along with me on there. And then also there's another little goodie bag. And in here, well, I put some of these flowers. I love these flowers. And the way I use them primarily is I spray paint them. I generally spray paint them gold. So I'm going to be using some of those, as I like the idea, especially with some of the Tattered Temples. Some of my ladies were into gardens. So there'll be some flowers that I'll be using. So I gave you guys a few of them so that, you know, if you want to spray paint them like me and work along with me in this series, you'll have some of those. This is like one of those kind of glass stones. I put this amber one in here because, of course, I feel like it goes beautifully with our color palette. These are a little, oh my God, these are a little bit more unusual to find. And one of the ways I oftentimes will do them is I'll back them with text or jelly prints or whatever. So you can use them as they are, or you can back them with something and make them be an element in your book. So that is in here. And then, I got dust everywhere. And then also there's going to be a nice collection of all kinds of semi-precious stones and pearls. Everyone is going to be different. I also, as I said before, designed jewelry many years. I used to work with Neiman's and many of the gallery, museum gallery stores across the country because I used a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces. The necklaces were one-offs, you can imagine. So, and I have lots and lots of stones still left over. So there's a lot of carnelian in here. This is cute. This is like a little teardrop. And that'll make a neat little drop off of something. A little bit of turquoise. They're pearls. These are all freshwater pearls, real pearls, not glass pearls or anything like that. There's some onyx and tiger's eye, and this little piece is a piece of this is chrysoprase. So there are little bits and bobs, and every pack is a little different, but you'll get a nice little collection of some authentic stones to use so that you can, embellish your books. And you know how I am. I'm a big one of saying, use authentic things. Don't use a lot of reproductions unless you've reproduced them, unless it's reproductions from your prints and things like that. I'm just really a big believer of using authentic stuff because when you do, your things look authentic. They look yummy. They really look good. So that is what will come in the bundle that I showed you guys. So that's basically what's going to be in this bundle. Okay. And then also, to go along with it, because when I was putting them together and I was putting everybody's pack together, and then, like the swooza cloth was different. Like, some of it was this one and that. And like, I could tell that I couldn't give everybody all the same patterns, obviously, because they're one-offs, they're unusual, they're unique, they're one of a kind. It's not like I could just make every pack of those fabrics the identical. It was impossible. So as I'm working through it, I said, I know what I'll do for them. Since a lot of what we're working with paper, we're working with our jelly prints and our other old ephemera, and a lot of it's going into our books. And so a lot of what we're doing is we're working with papers. And, I'm a big person I'm big on telling you guys, make photocopies of your own artwork, make photocopies of your own collections, turn those into the papers that you work with in your collages and in your journals, have authentic papers, that say something to you and not always kind of go and get those crafty, papers that what is it, scrapbook papers and stuff. There's a lot of really beautiful designs out there, but first of all, they're not done on really good quality paper. So over time, they're not the best papers to be using. And secondly, then your work can look like other people's work. And you notice, if you kind of like sort of honest with yourself, when you notice other people, like when you look at a lot of YouTube channels, when you notice people who use the same type of papers, don't like all the work kind of start looking alike? It's beautiful work and a lot of great ideas. So I'm not knocking anybody's creativity. So I don't say that. But what hits me is that they kind of start looking alike. And I just am not into that for my work. And I think that if you're following me, then you probably are similar to me. So I'm going to encourage you to make a lot of your own things. So on that note, I decided to create an ebook. And it's a collection of African Kuba and Swooza cloth, for Art Mythos art journaling, because my whole brand is Art Mythos. It's telling your stories through art. So it's from the private collection of At Rare Birds, which is me. And what I did is I just went through and I created 15. I scanned 15 of my best patterns. It's high resolution. They're all scanned at 300 DPI. So when you download this package, they're going to be all high resolution. When you go to print them out, you can change the resolution to like maybe 150. And I'm showing you, I printed all these out at 150 and they still look really good. And I'm saying that so that you don't use a lot of ink or you don't slow your printer down for printing. But I wanted to print them, I wanted to scan them in at a high res so that they would really pop. So this is just some of them. These are not all 15 of them, but I'm just showing you some of them. So you'll get a page that'll look like this. And so here you can see, you could just use this over and over again, tons of ways, and all kind of collaging, pockets, tuck spots. You're going to get one that looks like this. And you can just see how beautiful these textiles are. And each one is just a little different. I'm just showing you a few of them. But the pack will have 15 different images. Look at this one. Look how yummy that is. So this will come along with your pack as a downloadable. So when you make your purchase, these will go live today, probably like around around 1 p.m. Mountain time, because I'm in Arizona. So it'll be 1 p.m. Mountain time. And when you order from, it'll be on my site, robinmcclendon.com. When you go over there, you'll see something that will say fabric bundles or ethnic fabric bundles. And you hit that link, it'll be at the top. You'll see it at the top. And also in this video, I'll put the link in. So the link that will take you directly to the shop. And you can order your bundles there. You're free to order more than one, but they're only 30. So just know, if you think you might want more than one, then this is the time to get them, because I won't be able to make these again. When you do order them in my shop, it will ask you for your email, or I think you have to put your email in at the time that you do the order. Make sure you put an email in that you have access to or that you check regularly. Don't put like a bogus email in there, because that's the email I'm going to use to send this downloadable in. So as soon as you place the order and I see the orders, I can go in, I can pull your email, and the very first thing that you'll get within 24 hours will be the ebook. So how cool is that? So you'll be able to start working with those papers and everything while you're waiting for your bundle to come snail mail to you. So this will be in here, and this is what we're going to work from today in our little tutorial. So that's everything that you're going to get in the bundle. The bundles are going to be $55. So you get like a ton of stuff for $55, honestly. I wanted to make them, affordable and at the same time unique and yummy, and so you get a full experience for them. So the bundles are going to be up for $55, and the first 10 people who purchase their bundles, I got little gifts for you. I got these when I was in Australia, and I came across an old, my girlfriend Linda took me to like one of those old warehousey places that get container loads of stuff in from India and China and places like that. And they generally are resellers. So they resell to stores and stuff all over the world. And I saw these little miniature stamps. You guys have seen me use mine over here myself. I keep them right here on my desk. So if you've watched my videos, you've been seeing me use mine. And I love them. So they're all different ones. They're floral patterns. They're elephants. So each one is a little bit different. There are 10 of these. So the first 10 people who purchase today on my website, your bundles, you'll get one of these in your pack as my gift to you, as a thank you for following me and for encouraging me to continue to, be over here on YouTube and be a part of the community. So many of you guys are so kind and so wonderful. You do get a few bad apples that just sort of make you, I'm the kind of person that I'm into positive reinforcement. I've always been one of those kind of people. So if you tell me that I'm doing good, I'm wonderful and all that, I'm like a little Bijan. I'm just dancing on my toes, and I'm just going to give you more and more and more. But the minute, someone says, oh, I don't see why you're doing it, all this kind of stuff, I'm not going to go into it. That shuts me down. I'm like, well, I don't have to be doing this, because I'm happy in my studio doing what I'm doing, and I'm happy working with the clients I already have. And you know what I mean? So then I'm like, I don't have to be here for this. So then I retreated. But that was the wrong thing to do, because so many of you guys have been here for me. You've been awesome. You constantly encourage me along the way, or you reach out to me and say, hey, when you're going to put another video up, and all that kind of stuff. And not to mention all of you that have signed up to support me on Patreon, or that you are in my studio school over on Teachable. And I have lots of workshops and things over there. You guys have been a part of that over there. So So I wanted to give back. So I had enough to do 10 of these. I have a few more, but I'm gonna use those in a different sort of bundle. So these you get along as a thank you when you purchase the bundle. So first 10 people to do this will get these cute little wood, and they're the wood block stamps. These are wood blocks from India. They're all hand carved. You can see they're all hand carved, beautiful sandalwood. These are authentic. So yeah, they came from Australia by way of India. Alrighty, so here we go. So that's what you guys will get. So if you haven't already clicked and gone over to the link and purchased your bundle, you can stop the video and do that now. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to do I'm going to do a technique on using, I'm going to show you how I'm going to use the fabrics, the fibers here. So I have some already where I did part of it on, use this one too, on, printed it out on, can't think, onion skin, Robin, onion skin. So I printed it out on onion skin. So I'm gonna show you that. And also, so I'm gonna make a pocket. I may use this one as well, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna make a pocket for inside of our journal. So, we've been working through, we have this going. I was flipping through earlier, you know how we made one of our little grunge pockets out of book thing. I showed you that already. Oh, love that. And we're going to do more in here on that. Got some more ideas for this flap. But here I want to put, so this is one of the prints that if I'm also putting together some what you call naked journals, I guess, but they will include a lot of my collected ephemera, some of my jelly prints. And so I'll be putting these up on the site, once I get these bundles out. But some of you have reached out to me and asked me about the leather covers. And so I've responded to you. I haven't put these out yet, but for people who do want to reach out and grab them before I actually get them all together, put up, you're free to, because I know you want to get started on your book. So just DM me on Instagram or send me a message underneath the video. But what's in it, the journal pack that I'm referring to that will come with your packet will look like this. It'll have a fabric cover, and then it'll have a lot of my prints and stuff in it. And then you'll be able to put your own eco dye fibers in, because remember, they're not going to be bound. They're this method where they're being held in with a rubber band. So it's easy for you to add and take away. So this is an idea of what will be in them. The papers will all be a little bit different, but there'll be a nice little chunk. And this is what it's going to look like. So it's just a way to get you started. But there's another cord here that you can also slide your own in, or you can put a notebook in here like the way I do. So you can carry your journal, your art journal around. I love calling these jelly junkadories. So you can carry your jelly junkadory around with also your calendar or your notebook, so that, you carry your art with you, which is how I do it. That's one of the ways you can use it. Okay, so let's go to this page. Now, this page is what we're going to embellish using stuff from our Art Mythos Cuba cloth collection book. Okay, this right here I photocopied. On one side, I used my school line paper, and on the other side, I used this old book cover that I have in my collection. And this black line at the top is, that black line that you get when you lay something down on your copier bed, and that's just all black ink. I like leaving it on there, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I go to tea dye or eco dye or coffee dye, depending on what I'm using, the papers, I come up with a technique where I get all of this to bleed. Well, all of it's gonna bleed, but to me, it goes from black to this really beautiful kind of coloring. You see, I just gets aged and yummy and what have you. But a lot of this also bleeds onto other parts of the papers. See on the back? So you just start getting this really neat quality. So I leave that there, but sometimes I cover it up. So in this case, I'm gonna cover this up a bit with some of the textiles. Let me see, what did I do with the piece I want to use? Here's a piece I want to use. So this is a piece that I printed out, and I just think, look how good it looks at the top of this page, and look how nice it just blends in with the colors and this print. So this has been printed out on onion skin as well. So we're going to use a piece of that for there. And on the back side of this page, we're going to make a pocket. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this video. So that's one of the things I'll show that we can use with this. So what we're going to use some of this resume paper, this crane. It's 100% cotton. And this one I found this is another one I found at a thrift store. It was $3. Great price, because this stuff is like $30 a box. And this box was full, just not a lot had been used. So I'm gonna use a piece of this. And the reason why, this color is called ivory flannel. It's beautiful. You can see the texture in it. But the reason why I'm going to use this is because it is 100% cotton. And since I'm working on paper, I don't want really a hard card stock, so that it's like it's a hard piece of card behind this paper. I want to still have this flexibility of the paper. And since we're mimicking fabric, I also wanted to have that kind of fabric quality to it. So what I wanted, and because this is 100% cotton, it's a fabric in itself. And I'm going to show you how we can soften this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide the size of my pocket. So let's say I want a pocket about this big. So let's go ahead and tear it. Okay, so let's put this to the side so we can have the work area. Well, let me just also get the width. So we got the height. So I also want this to be in here about like here. So let's go ahead and rip off this edge so that we can get correct width. All right, we're saving that paper because we know it's good paper. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to start softening this up because it is crunchy at the beginning, but it is fiber. It's 100% cotton. So though it has different kind of fillers and stuff in it to make it, take inks, and because it's a resume paper, so it's designed to be used and put through printers and stuff. You just have to soften up that. I want this thing to mimic fabric by the time we're done. And I know using the onion skin, when I go to glue it down, it's already got texture to it. And I'm also going to do the same thing with this. So see, we're getting it softer, crunching it up, getting more of a fiber, but it's still going to give me a good background. It's still going to give me a nice, strong substrate to put this on to make a pocket. So when we're done, we're still going to have a nice strong pocket in our journal, our tattered temple for us to tuck something in. Having my coffee there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of this. See what piece I want of this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's just lay this down here and grab this bit of it. First of all, let me just rip this. Start there. Okay, so now I'm going to tear it a little bit bigger than the piece because I'm also going to crunch this up. And I know I'm going to lose a little bit of the width of it. But I want to get it close enough so that I won't have to tear it again, hopefully. We'll see. Okay, let's get this white edge off. It will print full size, so it's going to print. When you go to print these out, put fit to page, and it'll leave a little bit of a border, but you won't have much unless you can. I know sometimes you can alter your printer to go full bleed. And also remember that if you don't have your own copier, I always go to the library. I mean, I always tell people to go to the library. And I used to go to the library when I didn't have my own copier because they give you, like it's only 10 cents a copy for color or black and white. And you can like lay all your stuff out, like get organized on a little table and kind of figure out what you want to print, what you don't want to print, or you can just go in and have the whole book printed for you. I mean, just go in and print the whole book and print several copies of it. Or of course you can go to Kinko's and any place like that and just have them print it for you. And you just have to pay the cost of the color copier. So it's not bad. Okay. I just want to grunge this up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so that way when we do this on here, we're going to get something that looks more like fabric. Let me see. I'm just trying to look to see which glue I want to use. Yeah, I'm going to just use my Yoo-Hoo because it works well. Let's get a good coat because we got all these little mountains and valleys. So just really press down hard. Let's get a good coat there. Okay. And then let's take this. Okay. Okay. See, so that gives us a nice little, before it's drying good, I'm gonna go crunch it up a little bit more, just so that we don't press too many of the folds and stuff out. So I want it to have that old look to it. Try to get the rest of this. I'll just cut it. Just cut it. Be easier. Get this extra off. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit extra right here. Sorry if I'm off camera there. Sorry about that. I get so caught up. I oftentimes look up to see where I am on the screen. Okay, so this is going to go in here. Look how good that looks. Oh my goodness. That like looks real. See, they look beautiful. Like that looks like a piece of fabric in there. That's why I wanted to put this book together for you guys, is I know you'd be able to use it and appreciate it, because this is what I do. I'm constantly making copies of my fabrics and stuff. So now let's do a little extra here. We want to do something across the top. So I have some of this, a bunch of this sari silk that I got. I love this colors. Oh my goodness, these colors together are like so cool. So what I think I want to do is take a bit of this. Let's put a bit of this on, and I'm going to just kind of put it down. So let me just cut a bit of that. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to take a little bit of this Yoo-Hoo glue stick, and I'm just going to put a little strip of it. So I want to hold this in place. It's going to crunch up. I'm good with that, but I want to kind of get a bit of it down flat, and then, sort of let the rest of it can crunch up. And we're going to actually stitch this, and I'm going to show you how I stitch it. So I'm going to let this dry up. I'm going to go ahead and put the holes in it. and then let it dry. Well, I'll let it dry and then we'll come back and put the holes in it. So put this to the side. That's going to look good right in there. Yeah. And even some of the scraps are in your bundle, like this piece right here, you could use in a similar way. And also these are designed, if you cut them the long way, they'll rip into more strips. Like I'll show you. You just cut it. You can actually take and rip these. Let's make that go the right way. But what I do is I'll cut and rip because this stuff tears. See, so you can keep on getting that little ripped edge. This one is kind of going against the grain some kind of crazy way, but it's okay. You can see, you can still rip it like this. Just keep on cutting and pulling, so because you want it to fray. You want it to have this frayed edge. You can just keep on ripping, and then you have a piece like this that you can use in the same way. That's why I put this stuff in here, because it is the tie silk. It's in larger pieces, but you can use it the same exact way. So just know that that's there for you. Okay, so now we're going to put this to the side. We're going to come back over here and let's go ahead and just glue this up and put a piece of this down. So let's see, what do I want? I like this coloration right here. So let's just go ahead and let's get this end off. Okay. Perfect. So like I said before, you could totally keep this top part. A lot of times I keep this as well and just do other embellishing because I love the way this looks. But since we're using this pocket and I wanted to show you this, this just also perfectly works in with this. Can't beat it. So here again, we're just going to use a little bit of the Yoo-Hoo glue stick. Just glue it up, lay it down, and it's going to just be perfect. Okay. And if you wanted to leave, if you know, I could actually bring it down some and leave a little bit of the grunge at the top or whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this. But, you know, you could do this any way you want it to. And I got this edge here, that decal edge, with the decal edge ruler. You guys have seen me use it before. And I have it on in the supplies list. Oh, I'm thinking about, sorry, I'm thinking I'm unteachable right now telling you where the supplies list is. But I'll put a link in this video to that if you want to know how to kind of get this sort of neat edge. It's like, it's not too overly like, I mean, it's regular, but it's not as regular as those scissors do. It's a little bit more random. So I like the way that ruler works. But anyhow, so that looks great in there. We'll probably put like a little tab or something. Well, let's do that now. Let's use something from the pack here. One of those little tab pieces that I had. I like this piece here because it, like, to me, it works with this over here. Like, it's funny how good that looks. So I'm gonna make just a little tab. Let me just fold this. And let's go ahead and just cut that. These are just all really beautiful fabrics. They work well with our collection. I'm not going to make a really huge tab. I didn't really make it that big to hang off, but okay. Because I didn't want it too much right now. Just like a little tab. I'm sorry, I'm all off camera. You guys are going to be hollering at me. Girl, can you, she's showing us stuff. Can you stay on camera? So we're just going to use the tacky glue. The Aleene's. Use the tacky glue or the fabric glue. And we're just going to I'm putting a real narrow edge here. Like that. You know what? I guess I could, I don't know what I'm thinking. I could do the whole thing because it's not like want it to stick together, right? I'm thinking I'm making a pocket. Just want to give you guys enough stuff to work with, so when you get your stuff, you're ready to roll. Or even once you buy your bundle and you get this downloadable, and the next day, like you could have it by tomorrow, you're ready to start working. And I'm sure you have bits and pieces of fabric around too. So until this fabric pack comes, you can play with stuff that you already have and see what's going to work in, and it's not. That's lifting a little bit. So some of these fabrics are 2-ply. So right there, this is a 2-ply. Let's glue that down. Let's see. Oh, I love that. So it just gives us a little extra tab in our journal here. And all these little pieces sticking up. That's fun. It all works together. Okay. Okay, so while that dries, we're going to work on our pocket that's going to go down here. Okay, so that's going to be on the back side of this little lovely. Oh, I love it. I do these pages and I just want to look at them back and forth, And I am going to, the next video that I do, I'm going to be in the kitchen and I'm going to do this echo dyeing because I want to show you guys how I do my pages so that you get all this yummy grunge. Because I know a lot of you want to, are working along with me. And a few of you said, hey, can you do that tea dyeing thing soon? So I'll make sure I do that next. I'll try to do that next week. So next week's video that you guys will get will show that. Alrighty. So now let's go back to here because this had a chance to set up. So the way we're going to sew this, I'm going to use my awl and we're just going to do some hand sewing. I'm just going to put some holes, just kind of equal distance, sort of random like, because it's not going to be exact because I want it to look hand. So like borrow, just like a little, I don't want them perfect. So I'm just going to go across because even though I glued it down, that's all well and good, but I don't want it to be glued. I want it to have an extra element in it. So I use my awl and I literally stick through the paper and the fabric. See, and I make these holes. And so then what I've done is I've actually already threaded this beautiful linen yarn. I got this years ago. Everything from me years ago. I don't know. Did I buy anything yesterday, Robin? Got this years ago at a yarn mill in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And oh my God, it was a warehouse. I went crazy. Me and my sister, we went crazy in this place. But I got yarn, just spools and spools and spools of this stuff. And it's the most beautiful spun linen, so like a rough linen yarn. It looks like that burlap, but it's nice. You can tell by the sheen. It's just beautiful linen. So that's what I'm using here. So I'll just cut a length of it. And we're going to start in the front because I want this tail to be hanging out. So basically all you do is you just go through, that first hole, just kind of hold on to it, go in the back. I'm just going to weave in and out. And since we have those holes there, we don't have to worry about like bending the fabric. Like if you were to do this and just try to go in and out with a really sharp needle, I mean, that would work too. But the problem you're going to run into is this paper is not like super flexible. I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's not like it's fabric. So then you can run the risk of just paper getting all kind of botched and chunky and funny. So if you do it like this, if you just go ahead and put the holes in first, then you're literally just going in and out like this to create these stitches. So that's how I do it. It just gives another little element. It's quick, but it looks neat. Oh, wow. The luck of the draw. I had just the right number in there, so I end on top. Yay. Because you know, I just randomly did the holes. And then if I needed another one, I would have just put another one there because I want an end on the front side as well. So just take this out. So I'll just cut this. And then I like to kind of fray this because this stuff frays so nicely. So I just kind of open it up and just give it that sort of fray edge. And you could do this with any yarn, or you could do this with burlap. You know, you can get that inexpensive burlap, which I've used that before too, like at the dollar store, any place like that. So you don't have to try to look for this linen, of course. I wouldn't be able to tell you where to begin to find it. But, you know, you can definitely do this stuff with the twine and stuff that you can buy. So that just gives us a nice little yummy hand sewn little element. See that? Come on, let's focus. My camera is like a little animal, like, come on, please. Okay, there you go. Please focus. See how yummy that looks? Oh, okay. So now what we're going to do is this is going to go right in here beautifully. And I'm just going to use my tape, my score tape. But of course, you could use tacky glue. You could use, let's see. You could use the glue stick, actually. That worked well. But this is a lot. This is kind of heavy. So I want to make sure that. So a double-sided tape, or like a strong glue, like the tacky glue, or what's the other one? The fabric glue, that clear fabric glue, that's basically a PVA, and that's why that stuff is so strong. It's like a liquid PVA. Oh, I'm noisy. Put it there. Okay. Let's just use this 1/4 inch one. It works well. Score tape. Okay. Now what I like to do is I like to get my bone folder, and I'm really going to burnish this tape down. Because first of all, the first thing it does is you get a really good adhesion. You guys have probably heard me say this before. For those of you who've seen this for the first time, I'm repeating myself. But what it does is it really gets a good seal on the tape to the paper. And then it makes it easy to pop the liner off. And I know that my tape is down there really good. You know, I don't have to worry about it releasing or. Okay, so we're going to bring this over here, our little pocket. And we're going to put this right at the bottom of the page, sort of like that. Here we are. Oh, I love it. Look at this. Oh, this is great. Looks just like fabric, doesn't it? And because we put all this texture in here and everything, and we're using good quality, because the onion skin is 25% cotton, we put it on 100% cotton base. And we have all of this, and then with the high resolution of those images that I put together for you guys, I mean, you can see the cloth. It's just beautiful. And you guys can just use this over and over and over again, as much as you want. So here so far, this is what we're looking like. We have our pocket here in our Tattered Temple series. And we're going to do other stuff here. I'm just kind of moving around based upon the color palettes. This is one of my prints. This we just did with our tab. And we just made our pocket so you guys can see. It's nice. I mean, it could hold something really heavy in here. It's bone folder, you can see. And there we have it. So those are a few things that you guys can get started on right away with your in this series with the bundles that are coming your way. I mean, if you decide to, and if not, you can definitely work with material you already have and use some of these techniques that I just showed you to work with things that you already have. So that's why I'm doing it like this. I'm showing you the things that, that I'm offering, you can take advantage of. But if not, I'm still, showing you the techniques that you can use with stuff that you already have, because, we already have, lots of us already have lots of stuff. So let me see. Is there anything else I want to say before I end? The other thing with the images, you're free to use these images as much as you want. You can download, and obviously you own that copy of the book. Use it in print as many times as you want. There's no limit there. You can actually use these images and reproduce them in work that you sell. If you're putting journals together and you want to put some of these images in them, please do. You can resell the journals with the images in. The only thing that I do ask is that you don't reproduce the images in full and resell them like that, because I do, I have created a copyright on this little book, and I do own the images. But aside from that, you can do as much as you want with them. I want you to be free to explore and have fun and enjoy this and not worry about any, issues. Because I know sometimes that comes up for us artists. Well, I just bought this from her and I made this, and do you think she, am I doing any copyright infringement or anything? No, you take it and reuse it in your work, and you create something original to you. You own that, and you get to sell it and share it or give it and do as much as you want to do with it. That's how I look at it. Okay, so let's see. That's everything. Like I said, I'm making this live, and at 1 o'clock today, Mountain Time, on Saturday, the 5th, these bundles will be ready for you to purchase. Remember, the first 10 people will get a wood stamp to go along with their pack as a thank you from me. And remember to put an email that you will be able to access and use, because within 24 hours of the purchase, you will get the book and you'll be able to get started on that. Okay, I think that's everything. Boy, there's a lot. All right, guys, take care, and happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. All right, if you have any questions about the bundles or anything like that, just leave messages below the video. All right, bye-bye.